is ABC-7 at 5.
It was a Christmas Eve tragedy. El Paso police say a drunk driver ran a red light at Joe Battle in Vista del Sol in Far East El Paso, crashed into a car with 3 people inside. The alleged drunk driver and his passenger survived. The 3 people inside the other car died. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rick Cabrera. Today, ABC-7 got the complaint affidavit for the professional boxer blamed for that deadly crash. We learned police took a sample of his blood without a warrant. More on that in just a bit. But first, a storm track weather first alert. Here's a live look outside courtesy of the exclusive ABC-7 Mountain Cam. And don't say we didn't warn you. An Arctic blast with strong wind gusts is heading our way, and we're about to experience some of the coldest temperatures of the season. That's not only the only reason a first alert is in effect. Here's Chief Meteorologist Doppler Dave Spillman with the very latest. Doppler?
Yeah, you know, we always look for an opportunity for some precip, some moisture to move in here, and certainly with the cold air, you know what that means. We could see maybe a little bit of some snow, but more on that in just a minute. Now, tonight we're not going to be having to worry about too much. Mainly clear, some high clouds. Will be chilly, of course, during the overnight hours. Cold air by late tomorrow. We should be able to warm up into the upper 40s, and then boy, those temperatures really take a dive by tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. And then Thursday and Friday, some rain and snow opportunities. Where's the cold air? Well, to the north of us. Boy, you can see Rapid City at 1. We have Chicago at 25, Nashville at 38. Now, the air will be modified just a bit as it makes its way in our area, but certainly it will be quite chilly. And we'll talk all about some of the changes with that first alert. It's all coming up, Rick.
Doppler, thank you. Now to our top story, the latest on the deadly Christmas Eve car crash. A court document obtained by the ABC-7I team states a police officer drew a sample of 24-year-old Joel Garcia's blood without a warrant. Garcia is the alleged drunk driver blamed for the deaths of 3 people. According to the document, Garcia was at the hospital and was about to receive medication. The officers had to draw his blood before the medication altered his blood chemistry. Last month, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals ruled the warrantless drawing of a blood sample from a South Texas DWI suspect was unconstitutional. We don't know yet if that ruling will apply in this case. But even if that evidence is thrown out, police say witnesses at the scene of the car crash identified Garcia as the driver who ran a red light while speeding. Garcia remains behind bars this afternoon. This evening, an East El Paso community will mark the somber 7th anniversary of a crash that claimed the life of 9-year-old Valerie Talamantes. Happened at the intersection of Hawkins and Montana. Edison Bias, a Fort Bliss soldier driving drunk, rear ended the car Talamantes was driving. The victim's family holds prayer vigils at the site of the crash every year. Valerie would have turned 26 this past October. This evening's vigil is at 7 p.m. at the Airline International Packaging parking lot. That's at 1605 Hawkins. Bias's blood alcohol content level was 3 times the legal limit. A jury sentenced him to 15 years in prison and ordered him to pay a $10,000 fine. The list of things to do in downtown El Paso keeps growing, so how would you like to live just hundreds of feet away from Southwest University Park? ABC-7's Pilar Arias joins us live with new information. And Pilar, what's the exciting development news?
Rick, there's a few dirt lots surrounding the downtown ballpark. Today we learned one of them could be transformed as soon as this year into what's being called the Franklin Apartments. The property is located on Franklin Street just west of Coldwell. Apartment residents would be able to walk to the downtown ballpark. Local architect Ejigo released a rendering of what the complex might look like. It shows 4 parallel structures and lists local businessman Renard Johnson as the project client. Johnson told me in an email that he has not yet decided if he will move forward with the project, which is why few details have been released at this time. The total land area listed is 11,800 square feet with a budget set at $1.1 million. But the possibility of a new multifamily housing development is creating some buzz.
I think it's great. Walking distance to the ballpark? What could be better than that? You're right here in the heart of downtown, close to UTEP. I think it'd be great.
Oh, they're going to be cheap. We can afford them. It's, you know, because if they're not cheap, we can't afford them. There's a lot of us here that's not going to be in them anyway. So.
I also learned today that plans to renovate the historic Martin and Savoy hotel buildings on Stanton Street are underway for apartments and lofts aimed at luring young professionals. Back to you.
The changing face of downtown El Paso. Pilar, thank you very much. El Paso police identify the motorcyclist killed in a crash Saturday night. Investigators tell us Mark Seidler died from his injuries. The crash shut down the freeway for hours. Police say Seidler was hit when he veered into the right lane and stopped. That's when he was hit. Police say the driver who hit the motorcyclist has not been charged. It looks like outgoing Texas Governor Rick Perry is getting ready for another bid for the presidency. Perry sat down with CNN recently to talk about his past, present, and future in politics, including the not-too-flattering Republican debate performance in the lead-up to the 2012 election. But Perry says he's past all that and has been studying and preparing ever since.
Running for the presidency of the United States requires an inordinate amount of preparation. Sitting at the feet of Henry Kissinger and George Shultz, picking their brains about what's going on in the world. That has paid great dividends. If I make the decision to run for the presidency, I will be prepared.
In addition to policy, Perry says he has been working on his performance on the podium as well. He's trying to improve his public speaking by working with a company called Podium Masters, run by the former head of the Royal Shakespeare Company. Was it an accident or a cheap shot? Up ahead, how the NFL is punishing the Detroit Lions' best defensive player and why the Dallas Cowboys stand to benefit.
If he touches me, I want to arrest him. Hey, you need anger management.
Two groups of protesters clash outside police headquarters in L.A. It's a scene that's becoming all too familiar across the U.S. And in storm track weather, Doppler.
We have issued a first alert. Some big changes coming our way over the next several days. I'll talk about the winds, much colder air, and a chance of rain and snow. It's all coming up.
This is ABC 7 at 5, where news comes first.